Morning.
In less than an hour, aircraft from here will join others from around the world. And you will be launching the largest aerial battle in the history of mankind. Mankind, that word should have new meaning for all of us today. We can't be consumed by our petty differences anymore. We will be united in our common interest.
In the movie Independence Day, there are many leaders, and of course the acting president is one of those leaders. A president is an obvious example of a leader, but that's because they are so well known and sometimes the first person to come to mind when you are asked for a real-life example of a leader. In the clip that was just showed, the president is gathering those around him in order to empower them when they have little hope and are in need of someone to lead them. When I think about leaders, I usually tend to initially think of those with big, important titles, but when I think about great leaders, I think of the people with those titles that are actually making a positive influence and usually portray one of the many theories we have learned throughout our leadership courses. Near the beginning of the semester, my definition of leadership was this: leadership is a group of people coming together to make positive change. Leadership doesn't have a simple definition and encompasses a broad range of concepts and values. I used to think leadership was more about a single person trying to lead people and create influence. Now, as a leadership minor, I realize leadership is much more than that. Leadership is a collaborative effort that brings groups of people together. I still feel defining leadership is near impossible, but as I gain more experience, I continue to add on to this definition to represent the new material that I gained through school and life experience. After taking this class, I furthered my previous definition by adding the idea that great leaders are actively trying to portray a style or combination of styles that are outlined in the many leadership theories that are out there. The two theories that stuck with me the most are transformational leadership and learning organization leadership. Those I believe to accurately portray a transformational leader are Abraham Lincoln, Oprah Winfrey, and Gandhi. These leaders go beyond the aspect of just leading, but instilling values into their followers that better them off to be leaders themselves. In one of the readings, Kodu says it best when he defines transformational leadership as a relationship of mutual stimulation and elevation that converts followers into leaders and may convert leaders into moral agents. In another reading, Burns goes into further depth by breaking transformational leadership down into 3 different stages. He goes, first, that leaders and led have a relationship not only of power but of mutual needs, aspirations, and values. Second, that in responding to leaders, followers have adequate knowledge of alternative leaders and programs and the capacity to choose among those alternatives. And third, that leaders take responsibility for their commitments. This theory really resonated with me because it really focused on the leader being more of a teacher and leaving their followers better off than they were before. Moving on to learning organization, this leadership theory also resounded with me because of the educational focus as well as its combination of other leadership styles. In one of the readings, Garvin described his experience with learning organization leadership and explained the result was a compelling vision of an organization made up of employees skilled at creating, acquiring, and transferring knowledge. These people could help their firms cultivate tolerance, foster open discussion, and think holistically and systematically. Learning organization also emphasizes the significance of a horizontal structure within an organization rather than a vertical structure. This day and age, collaboration is one of the most important attributes an organization can have, and horizontal structure fosters an environment that allows for productive and innovative collaboration to take place. A vertical structure is more detrimental than beneficial nowadays because it creates a narrow scope and restricts those who might have great new ideas from expressing their thoughts. Learning organization leadership is also a newer theory and incorporates other theories within its model to form a theory that includes all the strengths of past theories and works out the weaknesses that have risen in past theories. By doing so, learning organization to me seems to be the best of both worlds and can allow for great leadership to take place. Personally, my understanding of leadership and desired embodiment of leadership has changed greatly throughout the years. From when I was a kid, I thought leadership was about authority, and you needed a certain title, like being a parent or a teacher, to be a leader. As I grew and matured, I saw that anyone can be a leader in some way, shape, or form, and I tried to gain certain positions that came with titles to be considered a leader, such as being on the student body government in school. But then I realized that a title wasn't necessary to be a leader, but by doing what I think is right and taking initiative, I'm actually considered a leader among my friends and family. When my two little sisters were born, I wanted to make sure I could be someone they look up to, and so I made sure to lead by example, whether that was just possessing a moral compass or creating change within my community back at home and even now at school. As my network continues to increase, I see much more potential to be a leader and have more influence that when I am older I can actually make a lasting difference on a much larger scale. When I grow up, I hope to display many of the attributes discussed in the previously mentioned theories and potential leadership positions that I will possess. While I am still growing and learning, I hope to absorb as much experience as I can when working with and observing leaders. By seeing firsthand experience of what does and does not work, I hopefully can be better off later in life when I am faced with leadership responsibilities, whether it is work related or a personal matter, and also represent a teacher role by helping those under me become leaders themselves.